They are 4-2 and looking pretty good after the Jaguars were flying high after that Monday Night Football victory against the Chiefs. Seahawks win 20-12. Kind of a all over the place game for these offenses. Had some real highs. Some seemed in structure, for the Seahawks, and the Jaguars seemed like a lot of just good plays into bad plays into good plays, everything in between. A good play that comes back with a penalty because your rookie receiver / corner lines up off sides. You got drops, double catches, cool catch. It's just Jags are everything. They press every button every single game. They're just chaotic everywhere. But the Seahawks pull this one off. What were your takeaways from this game, my friend Charles?
Of these teams that are now 4-2 with Seattle and Jacksonville, it just kind of felt like walking down this game. Maybe Seattle was a little closer to where they want to be in terms of just like, overall organization. And I think just trying to get, I don't really know how to phrase this without sounding like a jackass, but I guess kind of like looking like a more organized football team. And then I think Jacksonville has over the past 6 days. Because even when you go back to where Jacksonville was in that final drive, like dude, that final drive was absolute chaos because Trevor Lawrence got sacked on second down and he comes back with 2 dimes, and then they get the delay of game, and then they burn the timeout, and then all of a sudden he's in the end zone at the end of the game. And, luckily they have guys who are physically gifted enough to do that. But when they run against a team like Seattle, who also has a whole lot of talented players, and I think they're just maybe a little bit more familiar with each other in year 2 of Mike Macdonald's system, and a little bit more organized. I think we saw at moments today, it could get a little bit overwhelming for them. And I thought what Seattle did that was really impressive today was just kind of put the clamps on Jacksonville's run game, which has been pretty good this season. They held them to a 31.6% rushing success rate. Travis Etienne, I think, has lowest yards per carry output of the season. So that's a really good football team, man. We've said it a lot. It seems like Sam Darnold's really settling in, and they got some big plays through the air today. And now it feels like they're kind of in the driver's seat in the NFC West after a weird game by the Rams today.
Yeah. The Seahawks, it felt like the strengths of their team really showed up, but maybe it wasn't one of those strengths wasn't totally what I was expecting. So like the defensive line, that have to start there. They harassed Trevor Lawrence the whole day. Robert Hainsey was out, the center for the Jags. I mean, he's okay. That's why I kept trying to say to people about the Jags O-line. They're better, but they're not good. And today, the Seahawks defensive line, which is good, which I would even say is one of the best units in the entire league, they finished with 25 pressures, according to Next Gen Stats, a 50% pressure rate, 7 sacks. 8 of those were quick pressures. The previous high of the season was 12 allowed by the Jags for a 33% success rate or pressure rate. And that was against the Chiefs last Monday. This is the second most that Trevor Lawrence has been pressured, or second highest rate as a starter. The most was 26 pressures against the Browns in 2023. It's the most he's ever been sacked. He's never been sacked for a 7 split, which is not a very fun day. Nwosu had 9 pressures and 1.5 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence had 7 pressures, 2 sacks. Byron Murphy had 7 pressures, 2 sacks. Bowie Mafe had 6 pressures. Leonard Williams had 4 pressures. Walker Little, the left tackle for the Jags, gave up 13 pressures and 3 sacks. 13 pressures. The Jags had 11 third and longs. That's 7 or more yards on third down, 10.7 average distance to go. I thought this was a total ass kicking by the Seahawks defense, even though that the Jags had good moments. Like they, a couple connections to BTJ. Again, there's some stuff off script, but I just thought that over this game, as the course of this game went along, that the Seahawks defense really controlled it, even with the DB injuries. Also, the other strength of this team, the Seahawks offense, was, the run game's kind of just average. And that's what I'll call it, kind of hit and miss. It's not all perfect, but the passing game just so explosive. 6 explosive receptions today. They lead the league in explosive play rate or pass rate. 13.88 air yards for Sam Darnold. That's what the offense is. It's just run zone and then just bombs away. 10.6 net air yards or net yards an attempt, I should say. The Jags made a slog on the ground, but man, they were just able to chuck and go. And I thought JSN just kind of continues. He was on the podium for me for Offensive Player of the Year. It's not like a crazy thing to say going into this week. And I'm not 8 receptions, 162 yards, a touchdown, basically a 50% target share. He had sorry, I just keep throwing numbers at you. It was just ridiculous with some of the Seahawks things they did today. He had a catch on 2 out routes, 2 screens, a hitch, a cross, which is like an over route, a slant, and a post and a go. So he ran the full route tree and he got a catch on every single one of those routes. It was just
Ooh.
him and Darnold have just an unreal connection. So, man, any other kind of Seahawks takeaways? Because I really did think, I know the Jaguars are chaotic. They're still a fun team and a pretty good team and still had moments. But, man, I just really thought the Seahawks kind of really controlled this.
Yeah, they got a lot of good players, especially on that defense. I mean, Byron Murphy today, he he was kicking ass as a pass rusher, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's kind of cool to see like with Murphy and JSN, and shoot, you have to throw Darnold in there too now. Like you're starting to see like the next core of what this team is going to be for the next long haul kind of. Right, yeah, he had a big catch on the throwback today. That was cool to see. So. This team is really growing up right before our eyes, and it's cool to see all these young guys who are still on rookie contracts grow into be like major players for this team.
Yeah. So we're kind of continuing today. So with the Seahawks, there's 3 teams that are 4-2 in the NFC West. And really, I just asked you this, Charles. NFC hierarchy, where are the Seahawks for you? So like off the top of my head, it's like Lions, Eagles are kind of reeling, kind of Packers, but Rams, 49ers are banged up, Bucks. Where do you kind of have the Seahawks kind of in that pecking order? You have them like top 3? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I think they got to be near the top just with how kind of complete as the team they're looking right now. I know Tampa Bay and Detroit have better records, but we just saw Tampa Bay and Seattle go toe-to-toe last week, and it's just kind of hard for me to believe that Seattle, with how their defense is playing sans last week, that they wouldn't really be able to give anyone a good game and potentially, maybe win a game or 2 in the playoffs. I think, even though they're all 4-2 at the top of the division, it does feel like Seattle kind of has like control of the division because the 49ers are so banged up. The Rams are, a little hot and cold, and we'll see how nagging this Puka injury is. But the Seahawks, man, they got a lot that you can lean on, and a lot that you can repeat week to week.
Yeah, you mentioned a complete team. That's why I'm kind of just keep buying them. It's that I think the defense is top 10 easy. I think the offense is top 10, even with a run game that's kind of average. The run game just has to get a little bit better. That'd be like the one bugaboo for me. The right guard's a little iffy too. They also have I think the best special teams unit according to DVOA. So it's like, that's not nothing. So when you're just kind of matching up these units as the season goes along, and then the playoffs come. Same with that's how I feel about the Rams too. It's like, I trust their offense. It's just the defense kind of I agree with you, hot and cold, matchup dependent. I'll put it that way. I think their defense is more matchup dependent than what the Seahawks defense is. And that's, again, credit to what the Bucs keep doing. We'll get to them a little bit later. But before we do, we have high number 2, which involved another NFC South team, involved an AFC East team. This is the Drake Maye, Spencer Rattler bonanza that happened at the Superdome today. Patriots win this game 25-19. That's a funny score. Also, we have a year 2 matchup tomorrow night with the Bears and the Commanders. And this kind of, a little appetizer for maybe that kind of, takeaways. We had Rattler, Maye. I posted a Rodney Mullen versus Daewon Song skateboarding video, which is, if anyone's ever seen it, watch it on YouTube. Just a nice little battle back in the day, but that's exactly what Maye and Rattler were doing today. Drake Maye finished with 261 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that's not even including 2 awful offensive pass interference calls that I'll get into in a minute by Adrian Hill's crew. Oh my God, I can't wait to lay into them. 58% success rate, 6 of those were tight windows throws. It was some of the worst reffing I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not even just exaggerating there. It was absolutely awful. 3 rushing first downs. The Patriots had 5 rushing first downs. 3 of them were Maye. Reached 20 miles an hour on a scramble. I thought he was awesome, and I thought Rattler was quite good as well. And maybe his best throw was the one off the Olave on the wheel route. But what do you think about this game? Takeaways about these 2 teams? How you feeling about the Patriots, Saints, Maye, Rattler?
Man, after the game, I don't remember, someone on the CBS broadcast or whichever company was broadcasting today, they said Drake Maye is playing like a top 5 quarterback this season, and it's kind of hard to dispute, and I guess if you're not willing to say that, you could say, he hasn't had the toughest list of defenses that he's played against this season, but it ain't like the Patriots have the Avengers out there, or a whole bunch of like star players around Drake Maye. Like this is We were even talking about today, like they still kind of call offense sometimes like they have a better offensive line than they do. And the
Oh my God,
receivers have
right?
been shaky. Like you're relying on Kayshon Boutte to kind of finally live up to this form of himself that was rumored to us like 6 or 7 years ago before he got to LSU. And a lot of that just comes back to this kind of supernova you drafted last year in Drake. Man, I just think it's cool to see just him take control of everything around him each week, and you're just starting to see like the athleticism, the playmaking, start to pair
Yeah.
with experience, and it's cool. And you know, it's funny though because I was watching that game, and uh, you're watching two young quarterbacks like who look like they have promising futures. You know, kind of go toe
Mhm.
to toe, but they're just not on the same plane. You know, like Rattler is. I think he could be like a quality starter, and I think he's got the tools
Yeah.
to get a lot better. But then there's where Drake Maye is, and he's playing like someone who should be getting extended like today, if that was possible.
Yeah. Get out in front.
Yeah,
Log
yeah,
him up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I used to do
God.
on the old Maddens when you could sign your players to 10-year deals while they were like on year 2 of their contract and just
NHL
do what
contracts.
the Atlanta Braves did. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Get them early. Avoid arbitration. No. It's cool. Like the first touchdown to Pop Douglas is like why I again excited about Mays because the deep ball ability. You know his ability to create explosive plays with his arm and legs. And so that's what was funny about the first couple of weeks was that it was all underneath. He was acting like old school Drew Brees, and then now today you got to see some of the big plays, the creation plays. Boutte is like playing really well. I just really like him. Like just a nice, like good hands, ball skills at the catch point, like boxing guys out. Like the two touchdown throws where it's great connection. I thought they were both good throws with good plays by the receiver as well. They're so sloppy on offense. Like you just say, it's not like the Avengers, it's the Thunderbolts out there. It's the Suicide Squad. There's some like Garrett Bradbury had a snap that was, I mean, it was wider than any of May's throws today. Like it was, I've seen pitch outs in baseball that were closer than that snap on fourth down that he had. And I think maybe you just summed it up like where Maye feels like, you said top five, and I know I'm a big fan, so I'm just trying to like avoid having any of these like big takes that are kind of get, blown up my face. But at the very least, a top 8, top 10 guy right now, like at the very least. He's number 1 success rate right now. He's top 5 in EPA per play and EPA per dropback. So it's like, okay, there's underlying stats that are pointing at this too. While Rattler is 14th in success rate. And that's like, that kind of feels right. Maybe a top 5 and then more like a mid-level guy, but a 5th rounder that could be a
right?
fine starter. Like that's what you want. Like that's fantastic for Rattler. He has a higher success rate than Baker, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts this year. So, and I know success rate's just one stat. And there's other things to this, but it's like, that's kind of how he plays. Like he's just a nice, efficient thrower right now. He had some explosives today. But back to Maye and back to these offensive pass interferences. So a couple of really nice throws, especially tight window throws. He had a pitch to Henderson on a play where he was under pressure, I think from Chase Young. And then he had a left-handed throwaway, just fun stuff. I know I'm just going play after play with him, but the offensive pass interferences. Okay, so the first one was a creation play by Maye, a little extension, throws it to Pop Douglas, makes a nice little miss, make a guy miss, runs for a score. A phantom, a ghost OPI that even they did the whole like showed every eligible receiver that they could call it on. And it was just even Gene comes on who always backs every ref that's ever been born. And he just comes on and is like, yeah, I don't see anything there. So I don't know what they're calling there. So that's already number 1. Number 2, they had 113 yards wiped away from OPI. So this is why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Number 2 was a 3rd and forever. Maye, who's getting his
17,
jersey's getting
like
hugged.
that.
Pardon?
Like 3rd and 17 or something like that. Like it
Yeah,
was almost 3rd and 20.
3rd and forever.
It's crazy.
And this is why I like Maye is because he understands the situation. So he's like, well, we got to get a first down. So I got to push the ball here. I'm not going to just take a little 4-yard check down. Gets his jersey tugged. It looks like Michael Jordan in Space Jam, and launches it. Perfect ball. And then, okay, so they call it push off on Stephon Diggs, and his hands did go on the DB, but there's no extension or like push. It was just the DB was trying to make a play on the ball, so it looked like that. The field judge or the side judge, who's literally right there, doesn't call it. The down judge, who's the guy on the line of scrimmage, he's 30 plus yards. I watched all 22. I was going to post it, but then I realized I was going to get in trouble if I did that. I had an arrow pointing at him and everything. 35 yards from down the field, throws the flag, like just launches that thing, and they don't wave it off. And I was like, you're going to call it from 35 yards down the field? I haven't seen a PI like that called in forever.
Hey,
had me looking up where this crew was from. That they're one of the refs was from Grambling State. You know, I was keeping my eye on that just in case. I was like,
hey,
because I like to lay in refs, but these are some of the most egregious ones I've ever seen. But yeah, not to take away from what Maye and that passing game's looking like. The connection he has with Diggs, Henry, Booty now. Kyle Williams was getting in there, drew a defensive pass interference as well. So some really nice play going on.
The only thing I got to add is you're preaching to the choir here on that New Orleans home cooking, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a real phenomenon. It's a very.
I wasn't going to say anything, and then I was like, wait, yeah, I'm good here. No, yeah,
yeah, you're good here.
I know my audience here.
That's a real thing. Look it up, man. I'm not going to do the research for you. Do it.
I was checking out. I was like, hey, Adrian Hill's from Buffalo. Are we keeping an eye on that? Like, you know, it's just
they get scared of these. They get scared of these Saints fans, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, maybe, you know, it's a great atmosphere. I'll admit, Superdome's probably my favorite stadium still to this day. I will say that. So I get it though, because they're on top of you. It's very vertical. It's very just, you know, those Saints fans maybe bullying you a little bit. But no, it was an entertaining game, and what was that would have been a good slop watch kind of candidate. But I thought there was some fine QB playing, and I thought Maye was fantastic. I mean, just like the rushing success rate was like 30%, and his passing success rate was nearly 60%. It's like, I kind of see what the difference is here with the Patriots game plan and what they should be doing. All right, high number 3. This was the late afternoon staple. This was the Bucs beating the 49ers. The Bucs are now 5-1. All close games, but they win this one by double digits. Baker getting a lot of MVP pub, especially from Tony Romo. I had an insane sequence, though, with the scramble on 3rd and 14, I think it was, where he just made like 2 guys miss, made another missed tackle, and then he launches the one to Tez Johnson, who made a nice catch for the touchdown. But what were your takeaways? It was a great catch. And then Fred Warner gets hurt, which is significant, and I have a stat that points exactly how significant. But what were your takeaways about Baker and the Bucs going 5-1 against the 49ers?
Well, one, Kyle Shanahan just announced that Fred Warner will be out for the rest of the season. He's getting the surgery on a dislocated ankle. So it sucks. They're just crushed with injuries right now. Yeah, and that's a future Hall of Famer. So it sucks to see guys like that get hurt. And he's like easily clear cut best linebacker in the game with no real competition for number 2.
Nope.
And man, like the Tez Johnson catch, I just feel like that kid did not get enough credit for how tough that catch was. I mean, he had to lay out and catch it with his fingertips as he's falling into the end zone and not drop the ball. Like, that was incredible. So man, like they're clicking on all cylinders. Yeah, he's playing great. He is playing great. And I was a little surprised by that, because I just thought that maybe his weight would be a bigger, same inhibitor for him.
I got spooked. I was like, hey, day 3, take a chance on him, but I'm not touching him day 2. And I mean, this is how he played in college. This is why people liked him. So
yeah, look, you're not going to make me feel bad for being skeptical of like a 160-pound NFL player. All right,
who ran slow.
It's not going to work, right? But they just seem to have like figured out a way for this. Like for all these pieces, a lot that they had last year, but with the new offensive coordinator and you throwing Ibuka in there to kind of start working together. And they've had injuries too. And I know they were going up against a defense that was injured. I mean, you lose Fred Warner during the game. Nick Bosa's out for the season as well. It's going to be tough for them to stop an offense that has this much firepower. But still, they went out and executed. And the past 2 weeks, man, if they can keep this level of production up, like they're real Super Bowl contenders. But I'm still not in the space where I'm going to say like Baker is the MVP of the league, or he's a front runner for the MVP. Like even going into today, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes were still betting favorites in front of him for most books that I looked at. So I'm not quite there yet, but the past 2 weeks he definitely has lived up to I think some of the hype that people have given him. First 3 weeks, he was definitely leaving them in some holes that he had to dig himself and the rest of them out of. And then he had that bad interception to close it first Philly. But the last 2 weeks, he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I think
that really good. It's peak Baker. It's the highs are as high as it gets. He's scrambling more than ever, which I think is part of it too. Obviously that big play, but outside of that, and it's just all these it's a high wire act, and it's working right now. I mean, like it's props to him. He puts the ball in play. And I think that's just like, he'll let guys make chance or make plays on the ball, which there is something to that. So I will give him credit for that, and just withstanding the offensive line injuries, the receiver injuries, just thing after thing after thing. Also credit to this roster though. Like Jason Light, man, he just knows how to pick them, because it's just like next man up. Oh, that guy's making a play. And I also love the Baker Sterling Shepard connection. As far as just those two on the field, it's so funny. It's just like the guy. I love the random QB receiver connections in this league, like that just form. And obviously they had time in Oklahoma, but it's like you can tell we trust them still to this day, which I think is so funny. It's nice to have as a backup. But no, I think this game really helps me in my mind to like, okay, justify what the Baker hype is. I agree with you. I think Josh Allen still is my number one guy, but it's like, if you want to say in top five, I throw Baker in there, throw Daniel Jones in there, because that's what they got so far. But there's other guys that I think are playing very, very well too. Vita Vea, one of those guys. Pat Mahomes, most underrated player in the league.
That's right.
Most underrated player in the league, in the world, in any sport. Vita Vea was literally too big for the 49ers O-line. Like literally two, even against Pooney, who's no like small person. 49ers averaged 2.6 yards per run when Vea was on the field today. 4.2 yards on the plays he was off the field. 16 run plays he was on the field. 3 tackles, 1 stuff, which is a tackle for 0 or negative yards. I did think he had the penalty as well. Fun run game stuff, I thought, from the Bucs offense. The Sean Tucker TD was pretty cool. Getting to it, like how they got to counterplay, and that's why I just really think this offense is cool. Like even if the run game isn't perfect, they still try stuff and it's well designed. But I also want to talk about the Fred Warner injury you mentioned. I think it was a dislocated ankle that he got, and one of those counter runs that I just mentioned was on the play that Fred Warner got hurt. So it was felt. Notice how many throws Baker threw over the middle. Like it was just time and time again between the hashes, just stuff over the middle, and that's what makes Fred Warner so good. I've compared him to like a center in basketball. Like it's not just the plays he makes, it's the plays he takes away, like that he negates. Like the quarterbacks don't even try to throw into his area. And when they do, they're throwing underneath. They're not getting explosive plays over the middle of the field. And so this was the fourth most yards per attempt the 49ers defense has given up over the middle since 2018. That was Fred Warner's rookie year. This is from our friend Keegan Abdu from Next Gen Stats. Mayfield averaged 4.9 yards of target separation on those throws. That's the second most allowed on passes over the middle by the 49ers in the game since 2018. So that's eye test matching stats right there. Just perfect. And matching truly a player's loss, for that 49ers defense. And I was getting excited about like, man, next man up for the 49ers. This guy's healthy. Like Malik Mustafa's coming back. All right, we still got Fred Warner. Michael Williams is playing better. Okay, Upton Stout looks great in the slot. Like, okay, and you still got okay. Like I can see this vision where they can keep competing, and it's like, oh no, Nick Bosa's out, Fred Warner's out. It's just like, oh, okay. We got Juwan Jennings and Kyle Shanahan fighting multiple times on the sideline. It's like, oh, okay. It's like I was trying to talk myself into them, and they just spraying me with cold water. So I kind of feel for the 49ers who just keep competing, but just keep losing bodies to major stars.
It's crazy. It feels like there's more teams like this every year where they just get decimated. I mean, Baltimore's another one. It sucks because it's still 11 games left, man. You got to keep going. You can't stop here. I know the Bengals wish they could pull the cord in this season right now, but you got to keep going.
Competing with got Joe Flacco out there lobbing it up. It was, you don't want to see that. That was very surreal to watch that game. Yeah, I had the little screen and my multi-screen up. It was surreal to see him there, and I'm like, yeah, he's going against the Packers. I just watched him recently. We'll get into, I know it's Bengals. We'll get into some Browns thoughts later.